Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2016 coverage with me, Sonic Yoda from SEGADriven. In this episode, we're looking at Sonic World. So this is pretty cool, I've got to say. I mean, the effort that's gone into this is astounding, to be honest with you. So this is a full 3D modern style Sonic game that features remixed versions of existing Sonic stages, some original stuff as well, but mainly it's graphics and assets used from existing Sonic games and then repurposed to sort of suit this developers' stage designs, which are completely different to the originals. So that's kind of I would recommend that you play this one with a controller. I initially played it with the keyboard, and it is atrocious with key controls. I really cannot stress how much you really need a controller for this. So once you've got a controller plugged in, it's actually pretty decent, are the words I'm looking for. Yeah, this is a really good time, actually. So Sonic controls pretty well. He's got the sort of adventure style moveset that you've come to expect. It handles the way it should. It's a really, solid engine and a really good time when you can get it to respond in the way that you want it to. Not that it doesn't, but it does feel like the camera is working against you quite a lot. It's a really sort of I mean, it's doing its own thing for a lot of the time, trying to find its placement so that it can show you the action in the best way possible. But you can also control it with the right stick, so it does feel a bit sort of like this weird mishmash of freeform camera and actually sort of like pre-designated camera angles as well. So I don't know if it works too well, unfortunately, and it does feel like sometimes the camera is not in the right place and you do have to kind of fight against it a lot of the time, which is a shame, and that kind of makes it feel very sort of like Sonic Adventure in a weird way. So I suppose if it's going for authenticity, it's certainly got that down. But yeah, I mean, like, considering how much this is trying to do, and it couldn't have been developed by too many people. If it could well have been developed by one person, to be honest with you, because that is generally the case with a lot of these Sonic fan games. There's an extremely large amount of stuff happening at any given point. The stages are very, very long. I'd say too long in some cases, but still, like, the effort that's gone into making these stages is astounding, because I mean, like, I was finishing stages in like 7 minutes, and it's like, wow, there's really a lot here. They've really put everything that they could into this, and it works well. Yeah, I mean, like, the homing attack works perfectly. You home into all the things that you'd expect to, springs and pad necks, and it doesn't feel unfair. It doesn't feel like you overshoot a lot of the time. The control is very solid and robust. It always feels like you're in control most of the time, which is a really impressive thing for something like this. A fan-made 3D Sonic game. God, that's really ambitious, really. And this is not using GDK as well, which is quite interesting. I don't know if it's a custom engine or if there has been some support for developers, and this has been sort of community driven. But I mean, GDK is kind of the standard for 3D Sonic games now, and that is completely community supported. And if you're developing with GDK, then you've also got the support of all the people that use it as well, and you're going to have an easier time using that engine. So for this developer to go ahead and use something that's completely unique, I mean, huge props. It's so cool. And like I say, it works reasonably well. The only thing I'd say regarding the stage design is it does feel a bit empty sometimes, which is a bit of a shame. I appreciate you need to widen things out so that you have play area for a 3D, movement, but it just feels like there needs to be more happening in the area at every point. Just more detail to the stage, more enemies, more platforming. It does feel a bit like this is just run through the open area and occasionally gets confronted by badniks, which you don't really need to defeat an awful lot of the time, which is a shame. There needs to be a little bit more focus on tightening up the stage design, I think they've gone a little bit too much of like, this is a Sonic game, so it needs to be fast, so let's have like lots of long stretches and big roller coaster sections, but you're not really doing anything. And they haven't really thought about like actually getting like good player interaction into the game, which is a shame. But on the whole, this is a really, really impressive project. Something totally worth checking out, because I mean, it's so impressive to have something this. I mean, there's loads of stages in this as well, and they're all based on existing Sonic stages, remixed with new layouts and stuff. They're really fun. I mean, there's a Sonic 3D like Blast or Clicky's Island stage, which I thought was really cool. It's just a really good time. I'm honestly so surprised and impressed by what this community can do sometimes. So huge props to the guys developing Sonic World. It's a really fun, interesting game. The execution isn't quite there yet, but with time this could be something really worth your time. And I mean, even at the moment, it's totally worth checking out. So please do.